So I'm not trying to be real artistic with the this evening shot. Just thought it was a particularly nice evening for a walk, very balmy September evening. So I just another thing I was just a little bit interested in talking about briefly was I'm subbed to your man Gavin McInnes's censored TV channel. Now all that content is behind a paywall, so you have to actually shell out for that kind of content, but it's the only place I'm able to follow Devin Tracy's content. So you know, if you're familiar with his stuff, you'll know that he's particularly vexed by identity politics a lot of the time, and particularly as it pertains to how so-called hate crime or racially inspired violence in US news stories are covered. So I just had the misfortune to see a particularly horrible video from downtown Chicago, an incident that occurred about less than a week ago, in which two people are beaten mercilessly in the middle of a street. I had to pause there for a second because the two dogs that bit me last summer, they were passing by there a second ago. Not even joking for real. Anyway, yeah, and absolutely horrible video, and it appeared to be racially motivated. Now the very obvious thing I'm going to say here was that it was two white people being beaten within an inch of their life on this downtown street, and there's just a bunch of things that stuck out about it, but I'll just confine it to say that they appeared to be unrelated, and it did appear to be random, and it did appear to be just on the basis of skin colour, because the assailants were all African American. There looked like about 15 people all told involved. Now here's the thing, local news did pick that story up, and it was reported in local Chicago news, and that's fair enough. My position on that kind of thing remains the same. Stories like that, while horrible, really are just local news, and I'll put a few links for the news story as it was reported in those local news resources. But the just inescapable fact you would come to in viewing something like that would be that if that was two African American individuals being assaulted by a gang of up to 15 white people, we possibly would be dealing with World War III at the moment. That's the power of propagandizing, and it's the power of signal boosting stories in a particular direction if it fits a particular narrative. The level of irresponsibility of that is just staggering, absolutely staggering. So, but it is what it is, you know, and it's no harm to remind ourselves that that's how we're collectively gaslit all the time. So, nothing much else really to report on that one. As I said, links in the description. There's more you could say about the actual incident itself. Things like how the two lads were, you know, robbed by passers-by as they were lying on the street. Bunch of gals up in the corner of the screen twerking away during the whole thing. It's kind of surreal looking almost, but horrible. Anyway, it is what it is. So just wanted to briefly talk about that one, and to put it out there on the interwebs that it's the kind of gaslighting and horrible race baiting that, you know, really ought to pay a little bit more attention to and call it out as and where we see it. So thanks for listening.